Now, tonight's adventure into the unknown.
Welcome to the intro portion of this episode.
Yeah, welcome.
Episode 104 with Alfred Felker.
Yes.
Alfred Felker is a survivalist, teacher, trainer. What's his website? Self-Reliance, Defense, something or other?
Something or other.
Totally unprepared.
No, he's got an actual company.
Yes, the dude
where
is...
he teaches legit things, and he's the director, founder, and lead instructor at Strategic Self-Reliance and Defense.
Beautiful. I was just missing a couple words.
Yeah, just a few words.
Self-Reliance Defense...
LLC. So you can't sue him.
Yes, very interesting dude. We got in a hold of him. He got a hold of us. How did we connect with him? It was from the Larry Roberts episode?
Yes, Larry Roberts from Alone.
From Alone, 98. Okay, so one of those guys who's living a self-reliant, subsistent type lifestyle, lives in a cabin. He walked away from it all. He was a former law enforcement officer. And he ended up just leaving. He just went off the grid, basically. Mm-hmm. And so he's self-sustaining his lifestyle, growing his own food, living off the grid, generating his own power, all that exciting stuff. And we get a chance to sit down with him and hear his story and hear how he's living life. And it's pretty interesting. He's a good dude. He's a great conversation. And... we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it was super fun. And he also was battling, the flu, too, and he bucked up.
That's right. Well, real man will do a guest spot through a flu. Remember Michael Jordan in the 98 finals?
Yeah, I remember that. I also
he scored 45 points with a flu.
Most men, when they're sick, are babies, but he was not.
True.
He bucked up.
Alfred Felker is no pussy.
Nope. He's the badass.
Yeah. Our sponsors for this episode, Comics Watching Comics, the TV show you can find on Amazon Prime.
Absolutely. Seasons 1 through 5 are on there now for your watching pleasure. Mm-hmm. Season 7 and 8, they are now taking applicants to be on the show.
Yes. You newbie comics who have got at least 3 years of comedic experience under your belt.
Don't even try it if you don't have less than 3 years, because Kevin, the CEO, Kevin Goatee, will know.
Yes, the hosts of the show, the panelists, they will tear you apart if you do not have some experience under your belt. Don't go into it. It's not worth it.
Ball busting.
Don't try to be one of those 15-year-olds trying to get into the draft and go to Vietnam. It's not worth it. They will know. Have some experience under your belt and give them the least amount of opportunity to tear you apart, because they're gonna critique the shit out of you.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And it's a wonderful opportunity to get yourself out there if you are actually funny and have that experience.
Damn right. This episode is also sponsored by the Sportsbook Box Office Podcast.
Hosted by Kevin Goatee and Jeffrey Paul.
Yes!
Two New York City comedians who talk about sports, all the sports, and movies, and all the movies.
Every goddamn one of them.
Every movie. They've talked about them all. And they will definitely give you their opinion about whether the movie you like sucks or not.
They are opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, give it up for our guest, Alfred Felker.
Yeah.
Now, tonight's adventure into the unknown.
Shut up and sit down.
You are listening to SARGE Approved.
You are.
I'm your host, Sarge.
And I am your other host, Frenzy.
We got a pretty badass guest this evening, Frenzy.
We do. I've been looking forward to this guest. We have Alfred Felker, who is a woodsman, subsistence hunter, homesteader, wilderness skills, tactical firearms defense survival educator, and also founder, director, and lead instructor at Strategic Self-Reliance and Defense, LLC.
Jesus, that was a mouthful.
I know. Welcome, Alfred.
Thanks. I've always been a mouthful.
Damn. Did you get that?
It was a great way to start the show. Huh?
I missed half of that.
I can't help it. I am a good reader.
You're like the Micro Machines guy. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
The Micro Machines commercials?
Mm-hmm.
Alfred, do you remember those commercials?
I do not.
What?
Please enlighten me. I don't watch much TV these days. How long ago has this been?
Oh, it's been a while.
Probably late 80s.
Yeah.
When that was around. You remember Micro Machines, right? The little Hot Wheels, but they were really, really tiny.
Oh, the little cars. Yeah. The little cars or something. Yeah.
They had a commercial, very popular commercials, with that guy who had like that auctioneer type voice. I believe he held some kind of world record at some point for, saying the most amount of words in a minute or some.
Yeah,
some
his
like
name's John Washita Jr. and he was also known as the Motor Mouth, American spokesperson, singer, and actor, best known for his rapid speech delivery. And he appeared in over 100 commercials as the Micro Machines Man, and he also appeared in a 1981 ad for FedEx.
I am going to pull up a Micro Machines commercial for you right now, Alfred.
Yes.
Okay.
I will have to check that out. Come on, share it with me.
Here we go.
He's got a sweet stash.
Let's see. This should be... I'm assuming this is going to be one with the dude.
This is the Micro Machine Man presenting the most miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Each one has dramatic details, terrific trim, precision paint jobs, plus incredible Micro Machine pocket playsets. There's a police station, fire station, restaurant, service station, and more. Perfect pocket portables to take any place. And there are many miniature playsets to play with, and each one comes with its own special edition Micro Machine vehicle and fun, fantastic features that miraculously move. Raise the boat lift at the airport marina, man the gun turret at the army base, clean your car at the car wash, raise the toll bridge. And these playsets fit together to form a Micro Machine world. Micro Machine pocket playsets, so tremendously tiny, so perfectly precise, so dazzlingly detailed, you'll want to pocket them all. Micro Machines and Micro Machine pocket playsets sold separately from Galoob. The smaller they are, the better they are.
Yeah, that's
Man.
awesome.
They needed subtitles for that. I didn't understand anything he said.
I wonder how many words that guy talks per minute. I mean, it's got to be insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Those were the commercials. Those from the 80s. Those are the commercials we grew up with.
But you can still understand what he's saying, too.
Yeah, he doesn't, slip over his words.
Right.
But my brain had trouble keeping up.
Well, yeah, everyone's brain does. Crazy. So Alfred, you are you're coming to us from Tennessee, is that correct?
That's right. Yep.
Tennessee.
Western part of the state.
Go Volunteers!
It's been a while.
I don't follow college sports, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. We got, who isn't Timothy Hart from Tennessee?
Because
he's a Titans fan.
Yeah,
he's a Tennessee.
Is that
dude.
right? Okay.
Yeah, it's about the only dude we know in Tennessee. Now we know two.
Yes, two dudes from Tennessee.
We just doubled up.
And we've had a mutual friend, Joshua Native Kirk, on the show a while back.
Oh, you guys know each other? They know each other?
Well, they're friends on Facebook.
Well, we're friends on Facebook. I like to give him a hard time occasionally, but Joshua seems like a nice guy. He's doing it, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. You guys should work together too. I think it'd be cool. But he's from Georgia, but your accents are kind of similar a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. He's in northern Georgia, I think, so we're probably 400 or 500 miles apart.
Well, that's not that far.
Oh yeah, he's like,
just
do it.
You can meet up in the middle for coffee.
She's
and
gonna force you guys to become best friends. Do it.
I love when we've had multiple guests that have intermingled within each other and become friends, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, we've had guests that have ended up getting married. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we haven't.
Oh, really?
No, we haven't had that yet. I'm hoping I'm gonna make that happen eventually, but that's the plan.
Oh man.
So,
right.
So tell us about, I guess, how did you get started in all of this subsistence hunting, homesteading, wilderness skills business? Is it something that you grew up with, or how did you get on that train?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was. I grew up a product of divorced parents. I was fortunate enough to have a couple of thousand acres of land to roam, and several hundred acres of land to roam on my mother's side of the family. So my time was spent in the woods as a child.
Okay.
From the age of 8 or 9, all the way up through my teenage years, all the way up into adulthood. I've never not participated in outdoor recreation or hunting or fishing or living a kind of a detached lifestyle. I spent a long time in law enforcement. Of course, that kind of put the brakes on that for a few years as my career developed, in that. But I spent, a little over a decade, I guess, worked for several different law enforcement agencies, worked for the private and State Department of Corrections before that, and kind of have experienced the law enforcement field all the way from a rookie-based correctional officer up to a chief deputy through investigations, K-9, narcotics, the whole 9 yards. Right?
Really? Cool.
So I got burnt out. I had achieved a real high level in that, and I kind of got burnt out. I got smoked on it, and I left it. Got tired of the public service life and kind of retreated into nature. And 7 or 8 years ago, I just I changed my whole lifestyle. I ended up selling my house. I built a small cabin on some property, and I didn't want any more of the rat race. I got tired of the daily grind. You look anywhere today, and you look at a fast food restaurant at 12 noon, right? Any city you go to, look at the madness there. The people in the line, the disrespect in traffic, the behavior. I was done with all that. I didn't want to have anything else to do with it, and I wanted to be more pure in my lifestyle and stop consuming and start producing. So it's been a slow transition. I made the decision several years back, and I learn more and do more each and every year. So it's a nonstop progression of eliminating consumption and more production and becoming more self-reliant and more geared towards not being dependent on things from town, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how I live my life, and it's pretty liberating.
That's very cool.
That's a very romantic notion in a way for a lot of people. I think the idea of just kind of stepping back from that rat race, from the daily
the
grind
9 to 5 or the 10 to 12 or whatever your schedule is.
To step back from that and just retreat into some kind of more secluded existence out in the wilderness where you're living off the land or off the grid in some way or another. But a lot of people... What are you doing over there, dude? You're making noise.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm good, bro. I'm trying to fix these headphones you guys are making me wear.
We're making you wear.
Sounds so much better.
Yeah, we did make you wear earbuds. Sorry.
But a lot of people don't even really have the opportunity because... it's really easy to get caught up in that 9 to 5 daily grind type life. It's really easy to get caught up in it and then get comfortable, and then it feels almost impossible to leave. Even the idea of it sometimes doesn't even cross people's minds.
It is.
Yeah.
But then there's people, you may have a guy who has a wife and 3 kids, and he would love to just go build a cabin in the woods and just run away from it all, but he can't.
Well, hopefully he doesn't want to run away from his wife. That's sad.
Hey, I bet
hopefully he marries a wife that would run away with him after their kids are old enough.
He can. He's just got to have the right partner, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's few and far between, I got to imagine.
Right. Well, and just even having the idea of doing what you're doing and then actually making that come to fruition, I think is pretty cool. Because I think there's probably a lot of people out there that have that idea that would want to do it, and they think that would maybe make them happy, but actually just being like, all right, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's like I said, it's a step-by-step process. It's not something you do in a day. It's not something you do in a year.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment to a lifestyle change, and once you get the mindset that that's what you want to do and that's what you're going to be happy doing, then nothing will stop you.
Right.
And I challenge myself on a daily basis to consume just a little bit less, produce just a little bit more. And it's not because I'm doomsday prepper guy. It's because I just like being independent, and I like being reliant upon myself. I don't want to have to go to town and depend on anything. I want to produce, and I want to live close to the land, and I want to respect the resources and just live a more simple, peaceful existence.
Right. Well, and I think
that's what we teach here.
Yeah, and that's great. I love it. I think that, unfortunately, a lot of times when people aren't informed about, they think survivalists, they think people that live off the land, like they're the one, like their intentions are maybe something different than what they're actually trying to do. Like the perception of them is different, where it's like, well, they're, we're preparing for doomsday, we're preparing for the zombies or whatever it is. Like the whole survivalist thing. Like there's people that do that, and that's fine. There's some nutty people out there that there's a long line of I guess how people, when they're doing kind of what you're doing, what their intentions are. But I'm saying that the, I guess, perception from other people that don't care about that or don't have any intention of ever doing that, like they're kind of a little bit more, well, you're a survivalist, like you just, it's just different, I guess. And so it's being able to get your point across, I guess, as to what you're doing. But the beauty of it is you don't have to. Like, you just can do what you want to do and not worry about what anybody else thinks.
Well,
just get
the word survival or survivalist, that's not me, right? I mean, that's a word that's thrown around just to cover any number of things these days, right? It's something that has became a byproduct of the TV survivalist era. And it encompasses everything from walking in the woods to primitive skills these days, right? Survival means anything anymore, and honestly and realistically, that's not what it means at all. It's what we do is not survival. It's subsistence living. It's a package of self-reliance. It's not really survival or trying to go live in the woods. You can't go live in the woods these days. You can't. So that's a whole new episode there. But
why not? Why can't you go live in the woods? You live in the woods.
The resources aren't there. The resources aren't there to get. You can do it like I'm doing on a subsistence level, on a homesteader level. But when you're talking about survivalists and you're talking about the end of the world and apocalypse and all that, the resources are not there to support living in the woods indefinitely by people roaming at large.
For who? You mean like a lot of people or just one person?
You can live a subsistence lifestyle within the confines of the law and produce a living for yourself, right? You can do it legally, but to think you can go out here and live in the woods, you can't. You have to be nomadic, for one. Most people don't have, especially east of the Mississippi River, you don't have access to the amount of acreage and the amount of land and the amount of resources to be sustainable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That totally makes
sense.
Sense.
Without producing food and taking selectively from the land, you can't go out here on your 100-acre woods and be a subsistence living person. There are not enough resources. This isn't 1700, right? We can't run around like the natives did and be nomadic and run all over 200 million acres, right?
Yeah, like you're not going to be an elephant that just travels around Africa.
That sounds like a challenge, Alfred Felker.
You can't do it. You can't do it legal anymore. You can go trespass and you can violate game laws, right?
Yeah.
There's game laws for a reason. It's to protect those resources.
Yeah.
We've already almost made the white-tailed deer population extinct in several states. So they've had to be reintroduced. Yeah. We were down. Around 1900, they were nearly wiped out in many states, and they've had reintroduction programs, and they've got the population back up. But you take Tennessee, for example, we have a deer herd of 600 to 900,000 animals. Well, we got a population of 6.5, pushing 7 million people. So you do the math. How long do you think that's going to last you?
Yeah. What city do you live in again?
The whole world collapses. You have to believe that the entire society would collapse and you go live in the woods. And then if that happens, you still don't have the resources to pull it off. So all this survival stuff, it's a big myth. But it's popular culture. So, hey, it's cool.
No, yeah, I think it is popular culture. I think it's just that people don't understand. Like, it just gets put into such a broad category.
Yeah, it has become a broad
like
category.
It's such a broad category, and there's so many different facets of it that it's not really fair to.
Yeah, right.
That's
right. That's what
categorize
I'm saying. It covers everything.
Well,
it covers everything from a weekend camp to a primitive skills festival.
Well,
I mean, survival is everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think in a way, if you're living a subsistence lifestyle, or you're, for the most part, you're living off the land, you're growing your own food, things like that. You're off the grid. Basically removed from society, the norms of society. That in a way is still survival, because you're not in the nice cushy embrace of society where you can just go to the supermarket and buy whatever food you want. Well,
I could do that. I just choose not to.
Right, but you wouldn't be living that subsistence lifestyle if you just went to the supermarket for all your food. But you're growing your own food and you're hunting your own food. That's right. Surviving way more than it is living in normal society. Living in normal society, you don't have to worry about shit.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I don't know. You just go to the store.
Yeah, and you can choose to live off the grid in the way that you're doing. I watched a documentary on Amazon Video called Off the Grid, and it's about different places in Canada, kind of different cities and different islands and stuff, where they it took 2 years and they follow the lives of these Canadians in pretty much every province of Canada, and they choose to live with renewable energy. So they have solar power, like solar, what are they called? Solar panels. Sorry, I couldn't think
panels,
of it.
Yeah.
And then just different things where they have farms to houses to whatever. Maybe some of them leave their homes maybe a couple times a year. Some of them only leave once a year. They grow their own food. They're kind of doing all this stuff. I wouldn't say they're survivalists per se, but they're still.
Is it a lot like Life Below Zero?
No, it's not like that. Like, their life isn't hard. Like, they live in a house and they have heat and water and they're still at least trying to. They're off the grid and they're still trying to use the least amount of resources that take away from the planet as they can. I guess, kind of thing. Self-sustaining, exactly. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's kind of where I'm at, but I'm trying to do it in the modern era here, east of the Mississippi River, and it's there's a lot of people anymore, right? You can't go very far without bumping into somebody.
There's people everywhere. There's too many people.
Yeah,
there is too many people.
Yep,
yeah,
that's right.
There's at least like a dozen too many people on this planet.
For sure, five too many.
4 or 5 people can go.
Yeah.
But what's funny though is there with how many people there are on this planet, there is enough land for all the people that we have on this planet. It's just that we cram everybody into these cities where we have a city with millions of people in it and all of this land that's untouched. I mean, there is actually space for everybody. We're just cramming everybody into these cities.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let's leave them there and not destroy the natural areas.
No, I know, I get it, but I mean, what do you do? Do we regulate human populations like we do with wildlife? Is that the answer?
No, you can't open hunting season on humans, right? So no,
Why not?
Can't do that. I mean,
Why not?
It's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be until the resources are gone, and that's just a fact.
It's crazy. So as of today, the current world population is 7.6 billion people.
With a buh.
329 babies were born today. 329,000. It keeps, the number just keeps going up. Today, in the world, yeah. This year, there's already been 17.3 million births.
Stop fucking people. Stop fucking.
7.1 million deaths today. 136 deaths. It's just insane.
Well, that's good. That's good. Look, we got 7.1 7.1 million people died, right? And only 329,000 were born. So that's good.
7.1 million people died this year, and 17.3 million people were born this year.
Okay, how many people were born this year? Does it say?
17.3 million.
First this year.
This
oh my
year.
God!
Yeah.
Jesus!
It keeps, like...
Every year we're going up 10 million.
And now China changed their rules, so they're fucking everything up, too.
Oh, no.
Letting them have more than one kid.
Damn it. Why'd you show me those numbers? Now I'm even more depressed.
It's crazy.
You guys are freaking me out.
It's a lot.
Holy
I mean,
shit.
and you look at, like... So Alfred, if you were to guess... So I have this list in front of me. It's the top 20 largest countries by population, and it's live, so it's constantly changing. Who would you guess were the top 3 countries for population-wise? Okay. Yep. China's number 1. 1.4 billion people.
I know Russia has about half of what we have, so...
India.
Yeah, Russia's what, 150
Russia's
million?
144 million.
Damn.
They're 9th in the list.
India's got to be up there.
India's 1.3 billion.
Is that top 3?
That's number 2.
Woo!
And number 3 is
number 3?
The United States, 325 million. So they have 1.3 billion and 1.4 billion, and we have 3 million. We're way below.
Why are they banging more than us?
I have no idea.
Maybe we're killing off our people more at a faster clip than them.
Well, and they usually live in like little 1-bedroom places, so they're doing it more, I guess. I don't know.
No. Is that all you need? You need a small.
And then fourth is Indonesia, and 5th is Brazil, and then it goes down from there. I mean, Germany's 82 million.
All that you really have to know is it's not going down anytime soon.
No, it's just going to keep going up. It's crazy.
Wow. There was 10 million more births this year than there were deaths. 10 million more people got added to the population this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So right now it's at the world population clock is at 7.6 billion people.
That's so freaky when you can see the live counter, but actually going up.
I know.
There's some dude just furiously typing in every time. Oh man,
can you imagine having his job? It'd be so stressful.
Getting emails. This guy was born. This guy was born. This guy was born.
Yeah, it keeps, and then it also tells you about government and economics and how much we spent on public health care, public education, public military, cars produced this year, bicycles produced, computers, like crazy.
Wow. Gross.
It's wild, guy. Y'all are freaking me out, man.
I know, it's freaking me out. I'm gonna stop looking at it.
Okay, so you built a cabin on some land. And
right, yep.
Are you? What about power? Are you completely self-sustaining when it comes to power?
Well, I have the ability to be.
Okay.
I'm set up to go either way. I'm connected because number one, I like my deep freezers for all my food, right?
Yeah.
And the climate here tends to be a little bit on the hot and humid side.
You have to have the AC. Pussy.
No, I don't have to have it. No, don't need that. I'm talking about the deep freezers as a part of my food storage. My electric bill here runs about $40 a month.
Nice.
So but I have the ability to switch that off and either go generated or without.
Okay.
What I do is I let that electricity control my deep freezers, and that's about it, man. I've got one TV in here, and I don't watch it much. Awesome. I generally just don't have time to sit around that long and stare at the wall. Yeah. I spend my time running around the woods and running our school and making contacts and making phone calls. And the school has actually taken quite a bit of time away from what I would normally be doing.
Right.
But it's part of giving back, right? We spend a lot of time giving free training to our public servants and our rescue, our law enforcement and the rescue squads. And we do, like we did last week, we did a tactical emergency casualty care course. We do some search and rescue training. So that's kind of where we're geared at. We offer about 60 courses here. Only 5 or 6 of them are probably survival related. So it's a vast thing that we've undertaken here, and it's eaten up a lot of time. But I still stay in the woods as much as I can. That's what the cell phone's for, right?
That's what the cell phone's for, yes. So how did you, obviously after you were in the corrections field and law enforcement and all those things, and you decided you wanted to make less of an imprint on the environment and kind of do your own thing.
Reduce your carbon footprint, man.
Yeah. How did you decide you wanted to start this kind of, classes or whatever kind of the strategic self-reliance and defense company? Like, how did that come about?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. Really, honestly, I worked in the private sector for a little bit after I got out of the public service sector, and I didn't like it. I wasn't happy. I don't like going to work for anybody else. Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody telling me what to do all day long, and I'm not going to sit in a building and stare at the wall, right? So it just wasn't for me. So about 3 years ago, after I'd started making this transition, I'd already built my cabin, and I started putting together what I was going to do with some firearms training. I'm a former tactical guy, whatever. So I was going to do some firearms training and stuff along those lines. And we actually had a 2-year-old child come up missing in the woods, not far from me. I believe it was 2 years ago last month. The plan was already in place, and I was already developing things. But I watched the public service response to that and talked to some people on the inside, and the child was found dead 5 or 6 days later with between 700 and 1,000 ground searchers, and only on 1,000 acres, right, give or take. So after watching that and getting some information from the inside, I said, I looked back at my time and I looked at our search and rescue stuff here in this area, and they're just not prepared. They're not up to the see. We don't have dedicated ground search and rescue personnel here. We have people that work, like vehicle extrications and building collapses and stuff like that. But we really don't have a good skill set as public servants in this area when it comes to operating off the pavement. So that kind of spurred me in a whole new direction after I watched that unfold. And so that's why we spend as much time as we do giving back to our public service agencies and trying to get them better prepared for woodland operations, for lack of a better term. So
how did that?
It's kind of evolved from there. So
how did that 2-year-old? Do you know any of the details? How did they get lost in the wilderness? And did he die from exposure?
Yeah, we have crazy temperature swings here, right? It can, and that's probably why I'm sick right now. But we can go from 20 to 70 in 36 hours here.
Yeah, and it's like here.
He went for a walk with Grandma and the sister, and he takes off running, gets away from Grandma, and off he goes. So this is late in the afternoon. They formulate a response plan, the sheriff's office, whatever, the whole 9 yards, right? And they start calling volunteers, but it just keeps evolving. It keeps on going day after day after day after day, and they haven't found this kid yet. And sad. 5 or 6 days later, man, it's they find him. He's died from hypothermia exposure, and with that many personnel on the ground, and in that small of an area, we can do better than that, right? Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, and that's kind of what we do with that. All the other stuff has been a spin-off of it. It's been a development process, like everything. Like my lifestyle is, I'm always growing and learning, just like with the school. We're always evolving and shaping to become more proficient at what we do. So, but that's kind of the backstory to it.
That's awesome. So I have your your schedule for 2018 pulled up, and there's a lot of awesome things that you guys, train and teach. There's emergency service personnel leadership and management. There's mass transit rescue. There's swift water rescue awareness. There's structural collapse rescue, farm and machinery rescue.
Oh, jeez. Trench
rescue awareness and trench rescue. There's a lot of different kind of niches that you guys teach, which is pretty cool.
What you're looking at there is actually the training calendar for the Tennessee Association of Rescue Squads.
Oh, okay.
And my point with that, and that photo that you've looked at, that schedule,
yes.
is that if you'll look at that and you'll look closer, there is no ground search and rescue training provided statewide for the rescue squads.
Why is that, do you think? Why do you think the reason is for that? I mean, there's plenty of wilderness area in Tennessee, right?
Well, hey, wilderness is really no. I mean, if you want to just get down to it, you can't walk in a straight direction very far without hitting a road. I mean, that's just a reality.
In Tennessee,
you can die on 1 acre, right? So,
well, you could, yeah.
Right.
We just haven't had probably over history. We haven't had a need for. We don't have a lot of massive recreation areas other than the Great Smoky National Park, and they have their own thing that they do over there, right? But generally, we have smaller state parks, and you just haven't had a need. But as the population grows, we're starting to see that we've had, and that's how 2 years ago was not the only incident. We've had 2 more that I can recollect at this moment since then, where law enforcement or rescue has pulled out. They've been found by family or other people within a mile of their last known location.
Oh, Jesus!
And found by family or others, and it's just there's no sense in it. So.
I know that's the sad thing is I think a lot of times when kids like that and stuff go missing, it's usually when they're really little. They're usually camping and they fall in the river, or they get lost in the woods or whatever. Like they're usually super close.
Yeah, well, they said a mile and a half from where he was last seen. So you're looking at a square mile is 640 acres. You got nearly 1,000 people on the ground.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that 1 person per acre average, and you can't find him for 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, that's.
We can do better, and so I'm sure that everybody involved did the best they could with what they know how to do. But
right.
I want to give back my woodland knowledge and my wilderness skills and elevate their level of preparedness, right? I want people to be able to pull up, grab a bag out of their car, patrol unit, whatever the case may be, into the woods and stay 5 or 6 days without resupply if need be.
Yeah, and have everything that they need.
It's not hard,
Yeah.
Test those dudes.
Yeah, and it's not hard, like you said. It's just being educated and being prepared.
Yeah, if you're not educated or prepared, it is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. That's what I'm saying. But it really isn't hard if you do both of those things. But it's also having someone that has the knowledge to be able to share that with you and teach you that. So I think that's pretty cool.
If you're going to be in that line of work, you need to be as prepared as you can be. And as the population grows, it's not going to get any less of an issue, right? It's only going to be more instances of this kind of stuff happening. So, it's time now to fix it, I guess.
Yeah. So you've got the capability to generate all your power if you need to, and you basically only use the grid for your deep freeze, right?
That's pretty much it. Yep.
Do they ever give you shit for that? Do you ever get any flack for generating most of your power yourself?
No, I don't. I live way off, right? So my drive is gated, it's locked, and I stay down here by myself. So I've had, unfortunately, where we're at, I had to build my cabin up to code, right? I had to have an electrical guy come in and do it up to code and all this good stuff.
You're so stupid.
So he says the electric company, ask him what's he doing down there. Because I didn't want electric at first, but they say I gotta have it built to spec. So, but I try not to use it as much as possible. I like to use oil lamps.
Really?
Anything, man. Anything.
Oh shit!
That ain't gotta pay somebody a bill for, right? I don't want to send my money to somebody else.
I just know those electric companies. They don't like the idea of people being off the grid, and not using their services.
Exactly.
They do not like that. They want that money.
I have the ability. I use it for my deep freeze, but I have the ability to transition in about 15 minutes.
So how big is this cabin? Is it like
600 square feet? It's a 20 by 30.
Is it just one big open space?
One big open space. It has a 8 by 8 bathroom in the corner with a loft built on top of it. I have 12-foot ceilings in the front and 10-foot ceilings in the rear. It's
Oh, you have to send us
old
pictures.
shed roof style, like an old West general store, you know, with the opposed
Nice.
roof porch kind of thing going on.
Are there pictures of it on Facebook or anything?
Yeah, there's probably some on our Facebook page. Yeah.
All right, I gotta.
I
Find
need
those.
to see them.
As a matter of fact, the picture of me you guys got, I'm standing on it. So there you go.
Oh yeah, I figured
okay.
that. So you obviously, so if you were just to describe kind of your diet as far as what you sustain yourself on, in as far as fuel for your body, I know that you plant stored seeds and kind of do the you have like a farming gardening plan. Kind of what are the things that I mean, obviously it depends on where people are in, you know, location wise as far as what grows well, but what are your kind of your top go-tos for that, for planting things?
For planting, sweet corn, tomatoes, peppers, onions, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, squash, zucchini, you name it, whatever will grow
All the
here,
things.
we pretty well grow it.
Okay.
Yeah, everything, and we store it, you know, can it or put it up,
Right.
freeze it, whatever we need to do.
And then
A
meat,
lot of deer,
deer.
a lot
Okay.
of fish. A lot
What kind of
rabbits.
fish?
I raise rabbits. Anything I can catch.
Yeah, he's got bunnies on here.
I don't want to see that.
He's got-
I used to have a pet bunny. I can't do it.
He's got baby bunnies.
I can't do it because I
That-
get it.
that-
I know
the
that
baby
they're
bunny.
that you grow them or whatever, have them to eat them later. But I used to have a pet. A bunny was my first pet ever,
You're eating the bunnies?
and I litter trained him. Like he
Yeah,
ran
damn
around
right I
my
eat them
house. Yeah, I know.
Do you name
I
them?
can't.
Do you name them before you
No,
eat them?
you can't name them.
Maybe he's hardcore and he names them.
I do name them. I name them.
Oh!
Oh Jesus!
He's a
I name
savage.
them fried. I name them whatever works.
You name them breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You get to know
Yeah,
him.
that's it. And grill and barbecue.
No,
and
I
they
totally-
understand the nature of this
I totally
relationship
get
going
it.
into it.
I totally get it.
Look at this! Look at this adorable little bunny that
I know. I
get-
used to have one that looked like
he-
that.
That thing that he ate.
I
That
know.
thing. It went in his belly and then he shit it out later.
I know. It's fine. I don't care. Like, I totally
It's so cute.
am not against you doing that. I just could never do it. That's all I'm saying. Like, I could never. I could never. I would cry.
It's a good source of food.
No, I know it is. I totally get it. My dad used to. This was back. Oh gosh, I was probably maybe 5th or 6th grade, and I remember we had a couple of squirrels that made nests in our garage, and we lived in South Minneapolis. But we lived like right next to a swamp, and there was muskrats and stuff all the time too, like raccoons and whatever. And he shot this like random street squirrel with a bow and arrow in our garage, and then made squirrel soup out of it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And then it was fine, like it wasn't bad. But
You don't get like a whole lot of meat off of rabbit, though, do you? Isn't that like a really lean meat?
Yeah.
There's like no fat.
If you could pick any wild animal that would, I guess, be your favorite, would it be deer? I guess, I don't know.
Venison.
Well, I mean, in this part of the country, yeah, probably. I mean, deer's my go-to, right? It's the biggest bang for the buck.
Yeah.
There's no elk or anything
pounds,
there.
80 pounds of meat for one bullet, right? So it's my go-to. Now, as far as taste, I like bear. I like bear and elk both, but you don't have that right here where I'm at.
Like?
So,
what does bear like? What kind of bear? Grizzly bear, black bear,
well,
brown bear?
black bear. Yeah, black bear's all I've had.
No, he's like only pandas.
It's very good stuff.
The only bear I eat is panda bear.
Black bear, really? I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, bear's good. You gotta watch out for trichinosis, though.
No, that's for pigs.
No, bears. You get trichinosis.
Some bears too.
Yeah, bears.
Just cook it good.
Yeah,
man.
cook it. Yeah, make sure you cook that shit good. Otherwise, trichinosis.
It's all good, man. Whatever don't come from the grocery store, it's all good.
Yeah, but the bunnies, the little cute little bunnies, you don't get much. That's a really lean meat, right?
Well, it's very comparable to chicken. It's actually a substitute for chicken in most dishes. So
like
it's
you hear that if you're lost out in the wilderness and you're catching bunnies all day and your main source of food is rabbit, is that you could actually starve to death if that's all you're eating.
Because it's so.
Well,
I
I want to know where people go get lost in the wilderness that damn long yet to even need to eat a rabbit. I mean, really.
I'm sure it's happened.
Besides the stupid guy from Into the Wild that went into Alaska and ate poisonous plants.
Chris McCandless.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
it's an interesting story, but like I said, you give that guy a skill set, we'd have never knew his name, right?
Exactly. That's the dude who didn't have a plan.
He didn't. He was an idiot.
Tomorrow, he's like, oh, I'm
going to Alaska.
I'm dipping out.
And Alaska's probably the worst place for you to start off your wilderness adventure.
Yeah, ease into it.
Go to South Dakota. Go to Montana. Go somewhere else. Alaska, no.
Well, you look at, search and rescue is 93, 94% of search and rescue ops are all resolved within 24 hours, right? So 98 plus percent within 48 hours and 99 plus percent within 72 hours. So where in the hell are people getting lost far enough away to have to eat rabbits? You know what I'm saying? That's
right.
That's another thing with the survival stuff that we got going on that's so popular these days is where in the hell are these people getting lost where that even becomes necessary?
Right.
Well,
and I think
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I think the survivalist thing too has been so promoted and I guess in the spotlight with all these different shows.
Well, it's popular.
Hey, you guys remember breakdancing back in the 80s, right?
Yeah. I couldn't do
that
it.
Now?
It's not good.
It's still at the
It was not good then.
No, it is still at the forefront of dance. Break
like the Macarena?
Yeah,
don't knock breakdancing. I'll break dance right now. I'll break dance on this table right now.
Tell
me break dance is dead.
You guys know that everything comes in and fades away, right? So
exactly. Yes.
So survival stuff is no different. A few more years, all this stuff will trail off, and we'll be back to some reality. I hope.
I kind of hope it doesn't go away, though. I feel like people.
Well, the thing is whether it's a fad or not, having some kind of basic self-reliance or survival skills is just good to know. Having that in your back pocket
having
is
that
a good
knowledge,
thing.
I think, is very important.
Because people don't have to struggle for anything. You don't have to worry about where your food's coming from the next day. Unless you're homeless, you have no money, you can't go to the store. Most people, you're not wondering whether you're going to catch something that day so that your family can eat.
Right. Well, even just recently I had a conversation with some people about camping. Okay, camping in a tent. You bring a shitload of food with you, a cooler full of food that you probably don't even eat all of it. You have an air mattress with you. You have a lantern. You're living the good life. But these people were like, "Oh, I only camp in an RV." That's not camping. If you're not in a tent or you're not sleeping in a sleeping bag next to a fire under the stars, you're not camping.
Yeah.
It irritated me that that would even be something that you would consider to be camping. Sorry, but it's not. In an RV, you're not camping. You're RVing.
I think a lot of people are the idea of either going off the grid and living a self-reliant lifestyle or camping, anything outdoors is a romantic idea for a lot of people. It's just some people are not willing to give up as much as others. There's people who they love the idea of being out in the wilderness and being one with nature and stuff. But I don't quite love it enough to sleep on the ground. Until the mosquitoes start biting you, or you, or it starts raining, or whatever. But it's there. That feeling is there. The idea is there. But it's just, I guess that's where I get frustrated is just go with it then. You're going to go camping for a week in South Dakota and you're going to take a bar of soap and jump into a lake and that's what your shower is going to be for the week. I'm totally fine with that. Soap? I bring in soap. I brought a bar of soap. But it was a week. I use tree bark as my
But there's people that are going to bring their shower caps and
handful of dirt
and their portable curling irons, and they're still camping.
Hey, if that's the best they can muster, I guess. At least I'm
all for people enjoying the outdoors, but just enjoy it as it is. I don't know. It's annoying to me. It is.
Yeah, that's so not what we do here.
Right? You guys don't have curling irons or bars of soap?
No, we're all, like I said, we're all about living subsistence and living self-reliance, and survival stuff is great. You can never have enough skills, right? You can never learn enough. You're always going to learn something every day you're alive. But we got to keep it in proper context, and we got to keep it. We got to keep things on a reality-based plane of understanding of how to respond to survival situations and how to prevent them from ever happening to begin with. My train of thought is there's no such thing as a survival expert. It's possible to be a survival expert, because to be an expert at something, you have to be skilled at it, and you have to have been exposed to it many, many, many times to learn to become an expert. If you've allowed yourself to become involved in a situation beyond one time, you're a dumbass, and that's just a fact. If you have to continue to put yourself in bad situations, you should have learned the first time.
Exactly.
Survival expert is a non-existent thing.
I don't think there's anything such as an expert.
Is there no experts in anything?
I don't think. I think that there's self-proclaimed experts.
It's a word.
Yeah, there probably are experts in some things, but generally not things that'll cause you to lose your life, right?
Well, and the reason why I don't think that there's experts on everything is because things are constantly changing and evolving, and hopefully if you're an expert in something, you're wanting to learn the newest and latest thing that has to do with the thing that you're supposedly an expert about. So if you're an expert, you're
a learning process.
Right. So if you're an expert, then you're not going to learn anything else new about this topic that you're an expert about. So how about you're a connoisseur? Or
my concern, I guess my concern as a school owner and as an instructor is I want, and a guy who teaches search and rescue stuff and has watched these things unfold, is I want schools out there to teach reality for folks instead of giving a false hope and some skill, right? I don't want people to think that they can forego the standard safety precautions and prior notifications and the planning and because they can make a bow drill fire, right? I want the schools out there to make sure that people understand what survival really means. Yes. Survival means your ass is about to die or get seriously fucked off. And I mean, that's just what it is, right? It's not making a bow drill fire. So you can't, because you possess a skill set, you don't want to forego all your proper procedures, right?
Right, but being
that's what we've got away from.
Right, but being able to make a bow drill fire and actually get that to happen is pretty cool. If it's just like a thing,
it's pretty fun. Badass.
I've done it and it's fun.
It's cool, it's cool. But how practical is it really? How practical is it really? Statistically wise, when 99% of things are resolved within 72 hours, how practical is that really?
Right, I'm not saying that it's practical. But I think that
it's just badass.
It engages me to want to spend more time outdoors and do things outdoorsy.
It gives people hope, right? It gives people hope,
right? And just gives you kind of. I could sit at home and be on my computer, Facebooking and Twittering and Instagramming or whatever that most people do now.
Guess what it is though? It's bushcraft. It's not survival. It's bushcraft. It's bushcraft skills.
But you can use it to survive. That's survival.
If you practice enough to be good at it, you can do it. If you have a sweet ass piece of flint and steel, you can start a fire with that. Or
here's the definition of expert: a person who has a comprehensive and authoritative knowledge of a skill in a particular area.
I don't agree with that statement of what it means.
You don't get to disagree with the dictionary. That's
I do,
what
though.
It means.
I can
That's
agree.
What
I can disagree. I can, actually.
She's like, nope, you're wrong, dictionary.
Webster's, you piece of shit.
You can't just say...
Well, I mean... If you're
I don't agree with you.
If you're an expert, that means that nobody else can, say... I don't know. I just feel like if you're an expert in something, you know everything there is to know about the specific topic that you are an expert about.
Comprehensive.
Well, I kind of agree with that.
Comprehensive.
Yeah, comprehensive. But then what about when things get changed or they, when you were an expert about Pluto, and then Pluto decided, or NASA decided, Pluto wasn't a fucking planet anymore, and Pluto is now a dead star. And then all these people were pissed off that Pluto wasn't a planet anymore. Now Pluto's a planet again. The experts said that Pluto wasn't a planet, but now it's a planet again. So you're not, now after you rescind what you said, you're not an expert anymore in my eyes. You're just trying to shake up some shit because you're NASA or whatever. But like,
friends get really upset when Pluto was.
I love Pluto.
When they said Pluto wasn't a planet anymore.
Pluto is a planet.
Frenzy almost lost her shit.
It's just human nature, man. I mean, that's humans, whether it's scientists or politicians. Or
right, I know.
I mean, we're all fucking experts until we're fucking proven wrong.
Exactly. So. I don't know. Expert is just like such a huge title for me to comprehend.
Having or involving authoritative knowledge.
Yeah,
I see these wilderness skills, these survival guys out here talking about. I've had Giardia 4 times, and goddamn, I got lost in the rock. You know, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, did you not learn the first fucking time?
Yeah, you shouldn't have had. You maybe should have gotten Giardia once because you made a mistake, but after that, like,
they're trying to build up a tolerance.
Figure it out. Like, don't eat rabbit poop anymore.
Don't hold that shit up like a virtue because you're a dumbass. I mean,
exactly.
Exactly. I don't want to be taught by the guy that's got himself fucked up several times.
No.
I want to be taught by the guy that's never had to.
I don't get it.
I
keep drinking this stagnant swamp water, and I keep getting sick.
It's super weird.
I don't know. Get it.
It's like wild edibles. Wild edibles. Hell, all these schools are teaching all these wild fucking ass edibles, right? And you fucking forage your ass off for 2 hours, and you end up with 612 calories, and it's cost you, 0 carbs nearly, and it's cost you fucking, 500 calories to get it.
Yeah. Oh, I think
it ain't necessary for survival, right? It's just not necessary.
I know. Right. Plus,
encouraging those pursuits puts people in danger.
It does, because you're only getting maybe 600 calories after 2 hours of foraging for these edibles, and then most people that probably are doing it aren't super educated, so they're probably going to eat an edible that's going to kill them slowly.
We did a study last summer on it.
Really?
We did a study on it last. Yeah, we did a study. I got a guy that's a much better forager than me. Spent 1 hour. I got him to 1 hour to forage, and this is middle of summer now when your resources are good, everything's available. He pulled 476 calories. We weighed it, calculated it, looked up the nutritional values on all this stuff, and it's everything from burdock root to wild carrot root to milkweed, everything under the sun. Pulled 476 calories in 1 hour. Well, hell, he spent about 250 with his body weight. Just foraging, not counting the bending over, pulling it, and So by the time you wash it, prepare it, and eat it, well, hell, you burned 350 probably of your 450 or whatever you got.
What if you do it really slowly? It'll take like 6
like
hours.
You're a sloth.
It'll take 6 hours to.
If he foraged really slowly, he would forage for 6 damn hours and still have the same amount of
and it would still be the same.
So,
but
our modern diets are fueled by carbohydrates, right? Most of the energy, unless you're on the keto stuff all the time, most of our normal diets are carb based. They're carb fueled. You're not going to get that in nature from wild edibles on a sustainable level. It takes an average person 1,800 calories, depending on your body size, of course. There's some variables in there, but 1,800 calories a day just to breathe and sleep, right? That's your daily consumption of calories. Well, if you don't meet that, then you're on the downhill slide, right? And you're going to immediately get into that downhill slide. So pursuing wild edibles is a part of short-term survival. And when I say short-term, I mean out to about 3 weeks. It's a futile effort. It's pointless. Your search and rescue, if search and rescue units look for you more than 2 weeks, you've done something magical. You must be very, very important, because they're not going to spend the money, right? These public service agencies are not going to spend that money to look for you. You're not that valuable to them.
You're right. Unfortunately,
so about 10 to 14 days is the limit. You don't need to eat. There's no need to eat. And for schools teaching that stuff, you're causing people to pursue things and consume things that's only going to cause diarrhea, cause dehydration, cause futile attempts at getting or procuring resources that do nutritional benefit. Just because you can't transition fast enough from a carb-based diet to a keto-based diet to make it work for you.
Right. So you're saying if you do somehow get lost out in the wilderness alone for 2 weeks, say the cutoff is 2 weeks and you get found, you're saying like you don't need to even worry about trying to find food if you know it's only going to be 2 weeks?
I say my theory on that is for the first 2 to 3 days, knowing the stats on search and rescue, and depending on the prior notifications that I've made, I'm not going to go out there without making notifications, right? So I should know that somebody's coming for me.
Yeah.
I'm first 2 or 3 days. If you want to nibble some berries, whatever, fine. But when it looks like you're not getting rescued, you need to go ahead and voluntarily transition into a ketogenic state.
So the first 2 or 3 days, don't even waste the energy looking for food.
Hell no, don't waste energy. There are much more higher priorities than food in survival situations. And that's movement, number one. You have to move. You have to navigate. You have to find your way from point A to point B. There is nowhere, especially east of that Mississippi River, that you can't hit a road if you can hold a bearing. You can maintain a straight line.
Well, but they say all the time, they always say, especially, falling under that idea that search and rescue is usually going to find you within 2 to 3 days, they always say, stay put, don't move. Give search and rescue a chance to find you in the area that you were last seen in. You should
have already made those notifications, right? You should have had a game plan given to a relative or a friend, or somebody should know where you're at and ideally what your game plan and intentions are with your excursion.
Right.
No matter how short it is. If you don't follow those procedures, then you get your ass in the world of hurt. You can.
Yeah, that was the thing Scott Oath was constantly stressing. Tell people where you're going.
Oh, you
Don't
should
be
have
stupid.
to. You have to.
You should hook up with Scott Oath too.
See, stop, Frenzy.
Well,
stop trying to matchmake.
They're good.
People.
They're good together. They would be good. Okay, so with your school, I want to know, I guess, the top 2 kind of your favorite things to teach people, to inform them about.
Oh man, there is no favorite. We do a lot of firearm stuff too. We hadn't even touched on that. We do a fighting pistol, ground fighting pistol.
What? That's badass.
Vehicle fighting tactics. We do a whole lot of firearm stuff here too. So as far as favorites, anytime I can help somebody and teach somebody something, I'm game, right? I guess.
Well, yeah. Obviously,
you want to
be. That's why you do it, is because you want to teach and you want to share your knowledge.
I do it for free. I do a lot of it for free.
I know. I saw that. That's amazing.
I want to help the search and rescue folks. I want to help the tactical medical guys, the public service guys. I want to help everybody really, but I guess search and rescue probably is some of my favorite, and the realities of subsistence living in the modern era, I guess, are 2 of my biggest things with what we do here. I want to help people that have the same mindset as me, people that have the same desire to change their life. I want to help those folks learn from my mistakes and learn how I did it and avoid the mistakes that I had, right? So it's a package of self-reliance and self-defense, and that's why we're called what we are.
So if you were, let me ask you this. Let me put together a scenario for you. If you did find yourself unexpectedly lost in the wilderness, and all you're wearing is t-shirt and a jeans. No knife, no tools, nothing on you.
Just jeans or a pair of jeans?
Pair of jeans. Okay. Did I say a jeans?
A jeans.
A jean. That's just one leg, right?
I'm just wearing a jeans.
A shirt and a jeans. Would you rather have to try to find your way out of lost in the middle of the desert, floating, just bobbing in the middle of the ocean, or stuck in a cold weather environment? You're out in the woods, say northern Minnesota or the boundary waters in the middle of the winter or something.
So I have a choice between the open ocean, Arizona, or northern Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah.
What you saying? I'm northern Minnesota.
You gonna take
Minnesota.
Cold weather? You're exposed. All you have is a t-shirt.
Hell yeah, because there's damn too many people on too many roads. I'll be eating pizza and drinking beer within fucking 6 hours.
Okay, well, let's say you're out. I mean, you're deep. The chances of you getting to civilization is. I mean, you know you're gonna be out there for a good week. Let's give it a week. So I'm really curious about like which situation, which environment is the scariest, the hardest to try to survive in.
The damn ocean. The ocean for me. I'm not a child of the ocean.
Yeah,
so
God,
I would want no part of that.
That would probably be the scariest one for me too. Just
if I have 2 feet and mobility, I'm good, right? But that ocean, I ain't got no control over that.
There was some story I remember. It might have been on one of those "I Shouldn't Be Alive" type shows.
Yeah, I watch those occasionally.
Yeah, there was a group of guys who I believe they were skydiving, and something happened with the airplane and it crashed in the ocean, and all of the other skydivers died except for one guy, and he's floating in the ocean with nothing. I mean, it's just him bobbing in the ocean, and so obviously, I mean, he doesn't know exactly where he is. Ugh. All his friends are dead already, and so he just has to sit there and tread water. And eventually, I know he was out there for multiple days, but at some point he saw something approaching him.
Was it a shark?
I think it was at night. I think it was dark, so he couldn't tell what it was. He saw something coming at him in the water, and he assumed it was a shark or something. But it ended up being a fucking log floating in the middle of the ocean.
Not like a
log,
a serpent.
Yeah, it was a log, and so he clung to that thing, and that was his life preserver. This log just happened to float by. Like, here you go, dude. And
this
after
is a
treading
gift.
water
This
for
is a
multiple
gift
days,
for you.
like he was ready to just sink and let him and give up. Apparently, before this log came.
It's crazy.
And but then at one point he finally gets close to an island. He has island in his vision in his sights, and he's trying to swim towards shore, but the tide keeps bringing him out because he's floating on this log. And so he has to abandon the log. He has to make the decision: do I hold on to this thing that is keeping me afloat, keeping me alive, or do I let it go and make a swim for this island by himself? And he he leaves the log and he swims for the island.
It was like his Wilson.
Yeah,
and then a shark ate him and he died.
Shut up.
Being on a log in the ocean is about as fucked as you can get. I mean, that's just
I know.
I don't know. I think the ocean would probably be the hardest.
Yeah, it would be rough.
Spot to. I mean, you don't have any water. You can't drink salt water. But there's been miraculous stories about people that have survived being shipwrecked and that have spent a ridiculous amount of time in the ocean, and they've come out of it. But I don't know.
Like I said, you can die on an acre if you don't plan ahead, right?
Well, but that's the other thing too. Like, I think about. I mean, obviously being from Minnesota, like every time I step, there's times where I go outside to either clean up my dog's poop or go to get the mail, and I might not make it back into the house when it's like negative 32 degrees, where it hurts your face. Like, it hurts your face. Like, you can't breathe. Like, the boogers freeze in your nose. Like, no matter how much clothes you have on. I can't imagine someone just being stuck in their car and their car breaks down on the side of the road and they go into, like, the ditch. Like, what would they do?
Imagine this. Remember that book? I didn't get to finish the book, but I had that book about that Jose Salvador Alvarenga, that Mexican fisherman who got lost at sea for 438 days.
I know.
He was lost at sea in a tiny little fishing boat.
That's crazy.
Off the coast of Mexico. Floated out to sea.
Getting a shot of bourbon, guys.
There you go. Bourbon.
Bourbon.
Coat the throat.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, man.
Yeah. This
go ahead about Jose.
This Jose Alvarenga guy, this Mexican fisherman, he's in this little tiny fishing boat, and it ends up getting pulled out to sea, and he's lost for 438 days.
That's crazy. That's way...
That wily little Mexican survived for over a year in the middle of the ocean.
He like drinking fish blood or something. I may have heard about this guy.
He's a shark fisherman.
Fish blood.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
I think that's probably him. Yeah.
What else do you drink?
What else would you drink? Your own pee besides that?
He may have made like solar stills, something like that. Some way to capture rainwater.
Is it a real life version of Castaway? That's what the world is trying to figure out after a man claims.
Oh, it's a video.
The hell is that?
It was a video about the story that popped up.
Y'all are freaking me the fuck out, man.
Who is that? Who's in the
I'm
room?
good. No, I'm good. I got this echo in my head from the sinus pressure and the goddamn earbud, so I'm trying to stay in tune.
25-foot fishing boat he was in without a sail or motor.
Jeez.
Just a piece of wood floating out there. This was recent. This was in like 2012.
I know, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Wow. That dude knows how to survive.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you'd rather be in the cold, like northern Minnesota wilderness and being totally exposed.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find a road for like a week, dude.
Well, that's okay.
You got to find a way to not freeze to death in that 7 days that you're out there. You're wearing a t-shirt and a jeans.
A jean. I just got one leg on my jean and a t-shirt. And how the hell in the hell did I get there to begin with?
I don't know. Your plane went down.
Holy shit!
My plane went down.
You're on a snowmobile trip by yourself, and the snowmobile broke down.
Man, it all goes back to them prior notifications, I guess. But you just got to do what you got to do. You need to know where you're at. You need to have some comprehension of a map. Look at a damn map, right? Before you do anything, look at the map. Look at the area of the state or the county or whatever you're in, and know where your major highways are. Know where your roads are.
Know where you're going.
Well, if I'm flying over Minnesota, then my dumb ass has probably looked at a Minnesota map before I got in that plane.
I would hope so.
You think so? I don't look at maps of states that I fly over.
I would.
That's
because we have a different mindset, right?
Every state. If you're going from Tennessee, you're flying over more than one state. You're on your way to Canada.
I don't fly, so I don't have the issue.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, how often do you fly?
You're blowing up my scenario, Alfred.
I don't fly. I've only flown one time as a 12-year-old child, and I'll
That's
never
it.
do it again. So I don't have that issue, but I can understand how others might have that issue.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you're getting all your food. You're totally self-sustained when it comes to food, right?
With the exception of some things I can't get naturally, like salts and sugar. I don't have a salt lick out there.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
What is wrong with you?
I have to get some things from town. Ammunition for my guns and stuff. I'm not able to produce sugar, although I could. Probably from
honey?
Saps and stuff and honeys and stuff like that. But I'm not.
That's making your own bullets, dude.
I produce all of my vegetables, all of my meats, everything else that I do. So salts, sugars, flour, stuff like that is what I get from town. I try to limit my trips 4 or 5 times a year, maybe.
Oh, wow.
You just need to get hooked up with Amazon. They'll deliver that shit in the next day.
Here's you an example right here of why I don't go fucking town, right? I had to go yesterday to do some business stuff with the accountant or whatever. I go into fucking civilization for one day and I come back and I got the goddamn flu.
Right. So, that's fucked up. That is super fucked.
Fuck town is kind of where I'm at.
Oh, man. That's weird. So, that's totally weird.
Yeah, I have to go. As a business guy, that's what I got to do for the school or whatever. But goddamn, I get home and I'm sick as fuck.
Weird.
So
you were exposed. Well, that's like
didn't have that problem.
I have a son. He's in 2nd grade, and my mom was like, "You need to get him the flu shot." And I was like, "I don't want to give him the flu shot. Like, I don't feel like he needs the flu shot. Like, I feel like if I'm going to give him the flu shot, he's going to get the flu or whatever." Like, but I know it gives you whatever, but I also think, like, when I was growing up, like, we played outside literally all the time. Like, I never got a flu shot. I was exposed to germs all the time, and I get sick maybe once a year, like, legit, like, where I have a fever and I have to, like, be in bed for a day, but I'm not, like, a pussy like boys are when they're sick, because they're super bad about it. Not saying that you are. Yep. I'm just saying other people.
I am.
Men are kind of like, "Oh, I'm sick, take care of me," and women are like, "I still have to do all the things, but I also get to be sick." But I don't know. I don't feel comfortable injecting my kid.
I don't either.
Well, no, I don't feel comfortable injecting myself or my kid with something that I don't know what's going to happen. Plus, all of these different flu strains that have come about over this year, especially, they're constantly changing.
It's a replicating virus, right?
Yeah. How do you know that the vaccine that you're getting or the flu shot that you're getting is going to combat the flu that's suddenly transitioned to be a transformer and is going to kill everybody? Like, you don't know.
You don't know. Yep, you don't. That's a good point. It's a replicating virus. You don't know that the flu shot's going to work. You don't know that it won't. Hell, I'm not a scientist nor a doctor. I ain't sticking shit in me. I'm going to get in a corner, roll it in a blanket, and get the bourbon.
I'm not going to let you... And that honestly has been, like, whenever I've gotten super sick, when I drink, like, alcohol, it usually kills it off, like, the next day. So, there's that. Mm-hmm.
Well, it just makes me sleep.
It's happened to you, too. Yeah. Last year. Yeah.
Who, me? You? What?
Yes, that happened to you.
What happened to me?
No, Sarge. He got sick. He had, like, kind of a fever and, like, flu-ish, and then I think we, like, went out to a comedy show or something for the show, and then he got kind of tipsy, and then the sickness the next day was gone. Like, it killed it. The alcohol killed it.
Because he had a gene on him. He didn't have the whole pair.
That could be too.
Flu.
Yeah, but you're such a pussy when you're sick. Just you are.
I was muted. There I am. I heal like Wolverine.
Yeah, but it takes like so much to like get you to be like, "You're fine." Like, let's just do the show. Like, how?
So you guys have kids, huh?
Yes.
Not together.
How old?
No, not together.
I'm going to interview you now. How old are you?
I have a boy who is in 2nd grade. How old do you think he is?
What, 8?
So he's 8.
7, 8?
He's 8.
Yeah, I got a 10-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh man! So y'all don't give them the flu shot? Do y'all not do the flu shot at all?
I don't do the flu shot for my son. No.
So I'm gonna suck it up.
I have grown children, and I have a 16-year-old and a 3.5-year-old.
What? 3.5?
Yeah. So I got 3.5. Yep. So I
boys
I
or
have
girls?
Custody of them, right? I'm divorced.
Yep.
So they're here every other week, right? I have every other week deal going on, but I don't do the flu shot with them.
Yeah.
But what I've discovered is the 16-year-old is a real good babysitter for the 3.5-year-old come time to go to the woods, right?
Yeah.
So they get to lay them sleep late while I get on my boots and hit the door at 4:30 a.m. So
that's perfect.
It works out well.
How do
but the flu shot stuff, I'm scared of that stuff, man. I don't like it.
How do the kids like the off the grid type life when they go and visit Dad? Do they receive it pretty well? Yeah,
of course, the 16-year-old, she used to hunt with me all the time. She would stay in the woods, and then, of course, when you get older and you figure out what cell phones and you get a driver's license are, that kind of goes out the window, right?
Yeah.
So, but the little one, yeah, she's all about the rabbits and the chickens, and she's just a ball of energy. So it's fun. Yeah. It's a good time. They're here every other week, and nothing changes. We just roll on. So
does the 3-year-old know that those cute little bunnies that she catches, that Daddy eats them and puts them in a stew?
Well, I tell her, but I don't think it's really registered.
Yeah.
I haven't let her watch me butcher them or nothing, so she'll figure it out before it's over with.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But she pets them. I don't know. You probably there's some pictures on her Facebook page or whatever. She's petting on them and whatever, but they understand it's part of life. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the animal world is a hell of a lot more ruthless than the human world in a lot of ways. It's just
the human is the most unethical animal of them all. If you want to be honest,
I don't know. Look at animals. There's no ethics when it comes to animals. There's across multiple species. You see things like murder. Animals do kill just to kill. I know that there's a saying out there like, animals don't murder, they kill only for food. No, they'll murder something just to fucking murder it.
Oh, totally they will.
Look at
humans
chimps.
are a prime example of that.
Chimps are assholes. There's plenty of rape across lots of species. Most animals just rape each other. And there's fighting, there's conflict. It's no different than there's lying. There's no difference in the animal kingdom than the human population. It's just that we're smarter and it's more prevalent and it's right there in our face. And we look at nature like that's just the way nature is.
Yeah, so they get a get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
we're just part of nature.
Yeah, we are. We're animals. We're just the smartest ones. And
maybe or the dumbest, depends on how you look at it.
We're the ones that can alter our environments more than any other animal out there. That's what makes us. We have intellect and we can learn from our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
sometimes not everybody does.
We alter our environment more than any other animal out there. That's the big thing. We can alter and improve.
But at the same time, over time, we're destroying our environment. We're destroying our livelihood.
Right.
And we're destroying our resources. And
right.
So are we the smartest or are we the dumbest?
Well, you look at it like this. If you were looked at the human race as a whole, as you looked at, imagine there's a documentary about humans. Like you watch a documentary about, chimpanzees or zebras or giraffes, whatever it is. You look at that documentary and it's explaining the normal activities that this animal does on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And you would look at the human race and like, okay, this is what humans do. They build cities, they have wars. This is the natural process of a human being.
Right.
We're not doing anything weird. This is what we do. This is what's normal for us. And just like it's normal for a giraffe to eat the tallest leaves on the tree, or it's normal for
right.
You know what I mean? For our species. This is how we roll. And
our species is not sustainable.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but look at other species. There's other species that decimate, vegetation in certain areas, or they decimate other species. If the wolves get too out of hand, then suddenly there's way less deer and there's way less rabbits and shit around because the wolves just cleaned out. They just cleaned out the whole area. Other animals decimate things in nature too. We do it on a grand scale. But we're not alone in the way we fuck things up.
Right, but the difference is animals do that because that's how they survive. They have instincts that, they need to survive. A locust is like, I'm going to eat the shit out of all of this grass. And I don't care what animal lives here, what habitat I'm ruining. I don't give a fuck. I just want to eat. People,
with your wildlife, we have the ability.
We have the choice to
oversee them, to manage them, to control their population.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
But we as human beings, the difference. Human beings are not driven often by just living. Surviving, we're often driven by money.
Exactly. Status,
and that
money.
causes a destruction of natural resources that is not necessarily prevalent in the animal world, right?
Right, because animals, I don't blame any kind of animal ever for decimating any kind of wetland or grassland or even if some other animal becomes extinct because another animal eats it, they're a predator and they attack it and that's their food, go ahead. Like, that's your right. Like, you get to do that.
Here's an example. The Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. You guys have been keeping up with that.
What is it called?
It's an area of Alaska. It's the last untouched, undrilled, it's just a pristine wilderness in Alaska. There's only a few people that are allowed to live there. It's been closed to oil exploration. We've just authorized the exploration. That's our last wilderness area in this country. True wilderness.
And it's only 19,000 acres. It's not that big. It's
about the
30,000
size
miles.
of South Carolina, I think. It's a pretty good sized area, but we're going to open it up to oil exploration, and once you do that, it's a downhill slide with human beings, right? It's only going to continue to get more and more and more involved with whoring out the resources, and I mean that's just the way it is. So it's just a sad state of affairs.
It's a wildlife refuge, and they're opening it up for oil drilling. I thought that was against the law.
And war. The Alaska National Wildlife Refuge. We're going to open it up to
ANWR,
oil exploration.
Who's allowing that?
Well, the government. We need some resources. So, But
caribou, polar bears, like...
There's lots of wild areas up there, but it's a symbol more than anything else. It's a symbol of the last great holdout, right?
So the size of it is basically, the refuge is nearly the size of South Carolina.
Yeah,
that's how big it is.
It's in the
that's not
northeast
big.
corner of the state.
Like there's no reason why we shouldn't have so many other places in our country that are devoted to just that. Like, that's gross
it's just
to me.
An example.
I know.
It's just a small example of what's coming down the road, right? And until we stop our consumption and start our personal production.
But we won't, though, is the problem. I mean, unless people like you continuing to educate and teach people, how to do things, or even just opening people's minds to living their lives differently, it won't happen, and that's depressing. Like,
so
it will never happen.
So what's the answer, Alfred? What's the answer? What do we do?
The answer, from my perspective, is for people to live a lifestyle of less consumption and more personal production. As you said before, we've got enough land for everybody in the country, right? But we're all packed into these cities. We're all packed into this, packed into that. You have to stop contributing to the system that's in place. Every time you go to a fast food restaurant, or every time you go anywhere and consume, you're contributing to a whole system of resource destruction. So live simple, live clean, live pure, produce more than you consume. At least produce what you consume, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
the solution. That's the solution. But guess what? Humans, like every other animal, are lazy by nature.
Yeah.
They're going to always take the easy route. They're going to always take what's readily available that they don't have to struggle much for. And unfortunately, it will never change. And I can't change the world. I can only be responsible for me and the people that I teach, and they come to me to change their lives because they have that desire to do so.
I get that. I guess where I struggle with it is, when did the perception change? Has it never been there? Has it been... I
think it's a gradual evolution, because if you look at mankind as a whole, like, our whole thing is we're gradually and constantly always trying to improve our environment and make our environment less difficult.
Yeah,
that's it's in our nature. But with the things we invent, the technology we create, it's all geared towards making our life easier and improving our quality of life, making things easier. But with that comes laziness, a sedentary type lifestyle. But I'm like, part of that is, I guess you have to try to find a balance, right? With the things you're creating, the luxuries and an easier lifestyle that we're creating with the inventions and technology that we have, because nobody wants to live like a caveman for till the end of time.
Well, no,
I mean,
no
you
one,
want life.
no
You
one
don't want
wants
life
to live
be
as a
just shitty
caveman.
and difficult all the time, right? I mean, iPads are awesome. The internet is amazing. I'm glad we have the internet.
I'm glad we have the internet too.
But-
I'm not glad that there's people that are getting $1,500 heart bouquets for Valentine's Day because they're rich.
That's the balance.
And they have butlers that go on vacation with
technology
them.
is okay. It's people that are shitty. Right?
Exactly.
Yes,
the
it's-
technology, yeah. Exactly.
There's no balance. The free market that we have, the rampant greed, that's what really kills people. It's all about money. The technology is like, in a way, an afterthought because it feeds the greed.
Right, but I get that. I'm just saying, like, our planet is gonna, like, it's already starting to die, and people that
it's probably
don't,
died multiple times.
It has died multiple times, and we will be blown off this planet. I am sure of it. Like, I have no doubt that there's going to be some kind of, like, apocalypse. I don't think there's going to be zombies.
We'll be long gone by
But we'll
then.
be long gone, and it'll regenerate itself.
I
fact
think this planet will continue. I think
will.
This planet will continue.
It'll regenerate.
Long after us.
Exactly.
And we're arrogant to think that we can really end it.
Well, and we're arrogant
a lot
in
bigger
thinking
picture
that the things that we're doing to it are not affecting it. I mean, you look at
they are somewhat.
You look at like the North Pole, like the whole like Antarctica thing, like polar bear thing, like how they basically have no ice anymore to go out and hunt during.
They need to
polar
move.
bears.
They
No,
should
they
not
don't
be
need
up
to.
there.
They do
That is
not
a
need to
stupid
move.
place to
Why do
live.
they need to move? They don't
Because
need to
it's-
move. It was
because it
frozen
sucks.
forever. No, it sucks.
there.
That's where they live. That's where they fucking live.
I
They don't
know,
have to move.
but they
do
should've-
not need to move. Okay,
Even
then
if
you
they-
go live in Russia, and
I
then
don't want to.
when the sun
don't want
starts
to.
melting your shit, then you go and move.
I
Like,
don't
why do
wanna-
polar bears have to move? They
Because
should not have to move.
Because it sucks there.
Yeah, it sucks there, but they figure it out, and that's where they grew up, and that's where they
That's
live.
why
And their
so many
hair on their
people-
bodies are conformed to live in that environment.
That's why
that's
so many
where
people,
they live there.
Hey, that's why so many people come to America, because where they're from sucks.
Okay, so polar bears are going to come to America on a
They
boat
should.
from New York and be like, "Hi, Statue of Liberty."
They'd have a lot more to eat.
No,
they wouldn't have to worry about
like,
ice flows
they shouldn't-
melting and seals being around.
They shouldn't have to worry about there being ice that suffices them to be able to go out and hunt on it. I mean,
We're just one part. We're just one part of the evolution of this planet, right?
absolutely.
So it'll be here long. It'll be here long after we're gone.
No, and
we
I
don't
know, and I
for
get that.
We are a
I
blip
totally
in
understand
time.
that.
We are a
I
blip
just
in
don't
time.
get how people can say global warming is not a thing. How
It is a thing.
It is a
but
thing.
We ain't causing it.
I don't.
You know, it
I'm
is
not
a
saying
thing.
that we caused it or that I don't care who caused it. I'm just saying it's a thing. Like
It is a
like
thing.
stop pretending it's not a thing. I mean,
Back in the 70s, everybody was hollering global cooling. We're going to an ice age. You
Yeah,
know that?
global cooling's a thing
Now,
too.
now, global cooling in the 70s, and global warming here now. So, which one the fuck is it?
well,
Make your fucking mind up.
like you're talking about in Tennessee where you're at, how the temperature changes. Explain to me
Yeah, it's
how
always
in
been that
Minnesota 3 days ago the temperature was like -10, and today it was 44 degrees.
Because
Snow and
Yeah,
shit
it's
is
the
melting.
same.
Like it's just there's not.
Mother Nature's on her period. She's cranky.
No, it's not a
here.
full.
Yeah,
It's not a full
it's like
moon.
70. It's like 72 here tomorrow, and it was in the low 20s just a couple days ago.
Right? Like what the f? And California,
It's just
and
Earth doing its thing, man.
don't you think California is really eventually gonna? At least half of it is gonna fall off into the ocean. I mean,
Hell, I hope so.
that place.
Adios.
I mean, it's insane. All of the stuff they have to deal with. Those mudslides that they had a couple of months ago. Like Oprah's house miraculously got saved. That's probably because she's gonna go for, try to be president or whatever. Her house got saved.
Yeah,
but everybody
I'm
else
not a
is.
political guy.
How's
I'm not either.
California still there? It's either sliding into the ocean, it's either on fire, covered in smog, or it's shaking from earthquakes. I mean, how is it still there? Why is everybody in
Definitely
California?
resistant.
Because it's 70 degrees year round. That's why. That's why.
Yeah, 70 degrees year round. Not true though. It's not always 70 years.
Well, I mean, basically. It's basically like 70 on average year round.
Yeah.
Sure as hell ain't like Minnesota.
Well, no.
All right, Alfred, I think it's time to pull this train into the station, my brother.
So before we pull it in,
I feel like I talked to this dude all night, though.
I know I could do, but I know that he doesn't feel good.
I know.
So what do you got going on? What do you got coming up? What can you share with people that want to learn things from you and that you can share with them?
Yeah, get our listeners up off their asses in Tennessee and learn some stuff.
Well, we have it all going on all the fucking time, every day. We don't do this on the weekends. We do it 7 days a week.
Nice.
We keep events going. Check out our Facebook page. Check out our website. If it ain't there, we'll make it happen. We're steadily working with state and local folks on the search and rescue stuff. Going to be providing free training for those guys. It's nonstop, man. It just is what it is. If you want to take something we offer, all 60 classes, all you got to do is give us a call, and we'll do it tomorrow. And that's just the way we roll. So
Nice. The website is strategicselfreliance.com, and it's a great website. It's got the consulting, all the different courses you offer, the firearms training. Yeah.
the main thing here, guys, is we're no bullshit, right? We're going to teach from a perspective of reality.
Yes.
We're going to back what we teach with facts, and we're going to show people how we live, and if they are interested in this lifestyle, we're going to help them learn from our mistakes and save them some headache. But we're not fucking around here. To hell with the damn popular culture. We're teaching reality. So,
I love it.
Come see us.
Hell yeah. Attaboy. I love it. You're doing good things, man, especially, the work that you do with these, these first responders, rescue, search and rescue type things, the free lessons you're giving. I mean, you're contributing. You're taking your knowledge and you're actually contributing to something that is very, very useful and helpful to people as a whole and your state, especially since they're lacking.
Well, it's an area that needs work and it needs improvement, and I've committed myself and my resources and my life to doing it. Used to do it as a public servant and get paid for it, but now it's costing me money to do it, and I still don't give a shit. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, right? Because it's the right thing to do.
It's badass, man. Yes, you're contributing. You're one of the good guys. You're one of the good guys, man. I feel it.
Keep fighting the fight, bro. Keep fighting
the
fight. I love it.
You're SARGE approved, my friend.
And Frenzy approved, too.
You guys are Alfred approved. Thanks for having me. I love you guys.
Yes, we love you too, man. We appreciate you sharing your time with us this evening.
Yeah.
I'm going to share more on that. Take care, bro. See you.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
Outro time, motherfuckers.
Whoa.
This episode is wrapping up. That was our guest, Alfred Felker. Love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
He is SARGE approved.
I would love to chat with him again. Yes. He was amazing.
Definitely. Alfred Felker was a grand old time.
Yeah.
The guy's got a lot.
He's got a lot of knowledge.
Interesting stories.
Passionate about what he does.
He's living a life that is very attractive.
Yes.
It's a life that I think a lot of people are attracted to, but don't have the stones to actually go out and pursue.
The stones
it's scary.
or the skills.
That shit's scary.
It is,
skills
absolutely.
are important, obviously. You can't just be any geek off the street. You got to handle the steel, you know what I mean? Earn your keep.
Regulators, mount up. It was a clear black night. Okay. But yeah, he definitely has the skills and the passion for it, and that's something that you can appreciate. And the fact that he wasn't feeling the best while he recorded with us and still stuck it out and made it happen is pretty cool.
I guarantee if you take any of the classes that this guy's offering, you're going to learn some valuable shit.
Yeah, so go do yourself a favor. On Facebook, go to Strategic Self-Reliance and Defense LLC and like that page. and you can see all the things that he's up to.
Yes. Good dude. Enjoyed that shit.
Enjoy it.
Coming up on the SARGE Approved podcast, we have one more episode, one more guest for the month of February.
Yes.
Legendary comedian Jim Florentine.
Yes, so excited for that episode.
Yes, pumped for this. Jim Florentine is a comedic legend. You know him from shows like Crank Yankers.
Mm-hmm.
He played, he had a few characters on there. If you remember Crank Yankers from Comedy Central, he played like that special ed guy. He was like, yay! Yay, I peed in your pool. He played a couple different ones. Can't remember what the other one was. And then the month of March coming up, we're going to do a Swapcast.
Swapcast. We're going to do a Swapcast every month.
Yes.
That's our newest thing.
That's what we're going to do, yes. What the plan here is we are structuring things a little bit more. The show's getting bigger and bigger, and as a result, we have to try to accommodate.
Frenzy needs structure.
We can no longer put out 10 to 12 episodes a month. It's just too much.
No.
And so we're toning it down. We're doing one episode a week. We're going to release them every Tuesday evening.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you follow us on like Spreaker and iTunes and shit like that, they'll come out Tuesday evening. And then if you follow us on like things like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, all that will be pushed out on Wednesdays. But the episodes will be released Tuesday evenings. Every Tuesday.
On the reg.
We're going to have, like Frenzy said, we're going to have a Swapcast every month. Where we're gonna collaborate with another podcast that we've gotten to know and we want to collaborate with.
Yep, we're gonna have a repeat guest.
A guest from the past,
friend of the show, a friend of SARGE Approved that we catch up with and see what they're up to.
We're gonna have a comedian every month.
Absolutely,
because we love comedians.
And then we're gonna have a random,
yeah. We're gonna
whatever we feel like having on.
Yes, we're gonna make sure we're gonna give you at least one or two big names that you've heard of every month. Sometimes the guest might be a big name, a comedian, and a past guest. They might fill 3 slots, but we're still gonna give you at least one episode every single week. And we're gonna have like some kind of mixed in there, like what we call like spin-off type episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be working with comedian Bradley Scott on some of those like spin-off episodes. Just kind of mix things up a bit, keep our creative juices flowing.
We want to keep our creative and random tangents going.
Yes,
that's what we do best.
That's it's important.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have fun with this. We don't want things to be stale. Obviously. We're gonna have awesome guests, but sometimes we want to mix things up a bit.
Yep,
it's not just the normal guest, host questioning, getting to know format. Sometimes we want to just mix shit up. Remix.
We need to evolve.
Wicka. And so we've got some other guests lined up. Still locking in some dates. We're looking at hopefully locking down comedian John Heffron for March.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking to try to get Pete Johansson back on for March, and hopefully musician Luce from Seattle. We had him back on a while ago. We're hoping to get him for March. Dates are not locked down officially yet, but most likely
I will get it done.
Yes, Frenzy's going to get that shit done. That's the outlook for March. All right. Our sponsors for this episode. Thank you to Comics Watching Comics. You can find that TV show on Amazon Prime.
Yes, Amazon Prime Video seasons 1 through 5 are available now, and they are also taking applicants for seasons 7 and 8.
Get on that shit, Comics.
Do it.
You want to be on that show.
Also, the Sportsbook Box Office Podcast, hosted by
Kevin Goatee and Jeffrey Paul, 2 New York area comedians talking about sports and movies.
And talking some shit.
Why did I always slip into that, like, DJ, like that strip club DJ / top 40?
I don't know.
Voice?
It's like a Casey Kasem. If Casey Kasem were a stripper DJ, that's your voice.
I can't help myself sometimes. When we get into a conversation with a guest, like I don't do that, But when, like, during the outro and stuff, I find myself slipping into, like, okay, now coming up on the... Why do I do that? Oh, I hate it.
And it's kind of like the... Come down to Larson's Automotive.
Yeah.
We've got the wacky waving inflatable whatever guy.
Wacky waving arm
inflatable tube man. For the kids, free balloons, free hot dogs, and come down and get your new car.
Come down to Manny's Mattress Factory.
It's basic.
We're slashing prices because I'm fucking crazy.
Exactly. It's like that.
Yeah, that kind of shit. I need to try to tone that down. It just sounds so fake. My name is Sarge, but not really. For all of you out there who think Sarge is my God-given birth name,
you're stupid.
It's not on my birth certificate.
No, you're not stupid. It's
no. If you think my real name is Sarge,
your real name is Sarge. As much as I would love to run a marathon in corduroy pants,
it was a name that was given to me
by yourself.
No, it was given to me. You are not allowed to give yourself a nickname. Not allowed. That is beyond douche level douchiness.
I gave myself the nickname Frenzy.
No, I gave it to you. So it's allowed.
Okay. I
gave it to you. It was allowed. Sarge was a name that people called me in my previous day job. And, yeah, long story. But, how do we get on this subject? All right,
we're wrapping this shit up.
Wrap it up like a birthday present.
This train has already been at the station for 10 minutes, and everyone's angry because they can't get off the train.
8.5. All right. We are going to play this episode out with a new artist that we have not used before. His name is David Rovix, with a song called East Tennessee, because Alfred Felker is a Tennessee man.
Yeah, he's from Henderson, Tennessee.
Fuck yeah. So, here we go. Thank you for listening. We love you. Could do the shit without you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Later, fuckers.
I grew up on this mountain, came back here to dwell, maybe have a family, plant some corn and dig a well. I was all done with the army, back from Vietnam, where I learned how to hold a rifle and how to set a bomb. I grew up on this mountain, it's in my very soul. So when the company moved next door, started digging for the coal, tearing up the mountain with drillers and drag lines, I knew then what needed to happen to those mines. 10, 9, 8, sometimes that's just how it goes. 3, 2, 1, get out before it blows. Guard, he was sleeping on duty through the night. I stepped gently on the ground, stayed well out of sight. I tied sticks to the equipment, set the timer on, and I knew that in 10 seconds those dozers would be gone. 10, 9, 8, sometimes that's just how it goes. 3, 2, get out before it blows. I had to leave the mountain. I headed for the west. The cops are on my trail, and I figured it was best. And I figured I did my small part to make the world free in my humble manner in East Tennessee. 10, 9, 8, it blows.